Hi everyone, we're here today with our current general manager, Sylvia. We're just going to ask her a couple of questions, starting off with how long have you been involved with the station?
I first joined, it was like the COVID year in 2020, and I've been a part of it ever since. And I'm graduating soon, so I'll be there for about 4 years. But I started off with just like an electronic music show, and we were producing remotely because of COVID, and then eventually we moved back to the studio. But that's like when I first fell in love with just curating music and producing my own show. So I've been a DJ for about 4 years there, and I also host a show called Glitched, which has to do with a lot of live hardware, and also Electric Kingdom Live, which is a tenured show on the station, and where we interview a lot of different acts from Miami. But yeah.
Since you're talking about interviewing, who do you think is the coolest person you've had the opportunity to interview with through the station?
Probably my favorite person was MJ Nebreda. She is she's this Venezuelan artist, and she's local to Miami, so I interviewed her when she was still a little bit smaller, but now she's like blowing up kind of, and she's like working with artists like Nick Leon and DJ Babatar and all like these really like super influential people to the electronic music culture. So yeah, she's probably my favorite.
Perfect. So, just always getting an in through college radio on what's happening, what's coming up. Speaking of coming up, I know that recently you've been performing at a lot of places. How has that been going?
It's been so much fun, honestly. I also like DJ throughout Miami, so that's been a crazy experience the past like 2.5, 3 years. I just DJed at 3 Points, which is a music festival that happens here every year. That was really, really cool. I got to see a lot of my favorite artists too, like Arca and Bad Gal. So good. But yeah, I love music.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say we have to bring up 3 Points at some point because that was so cool. It was so exciting seeing that you're going to be performing there and just seeing like how far you can get through college radio and be performing at these huge music festivals. And then recently we just had the 24-hour broadcast, which was so fun. Like I remember we were there for a lot of the day. What did you think of that?
That was really fun. It's always nice to see so many just people that are really talented and that are based here in Miami that contribute to the electronic music scene, and to have them, grace our office and just share that memory with us too. But yeah, that's so much fun. It gets, honestly, like the 3, 4, 5 a.m. hours, like that's when it really starts to get a little crazy because we do it for like 24 hours straight. But yeah, honestly, going back to like what you said about WVM connecting people to real music opportunities, I like owe all of that to the station. I would have not met people that are also into that and that could lead me down a path where I could make that a career. So it's been super, super important just to like my life, and I definitely would not be where I am without the station. So yeah, just have a lot of heart, like a lot of love for it.
That's so amazing. I've loved being here. It's been so nice meeting you through the station.
So
and what do you think we can expect from the station in the future, but also through this year?
In the future, honestly, I hope the station is very much continues just to be a cultural institution here in Miami and a place for alternative music to thrive and to really live. So that's really what I hope for, that it continues to be that home of alternative music and for, future U Miami generations to come. And for what you can expect, we're actually publishing a zine later this semester.
Yes.
Our first one, I think, ever. I'm not sure in the past if that's been done before, but yeah, our first zine ever, allegedly. And yeah, we're gonna have a lot of Miami writers and photographers contribute to it, and it'll be like a nice reflection of the Miami community, hopefully. So yeah, we're really excited about that.
That sounds so exciting. It's great that we're keeping sort of the arts involved with everything. Like, I think that'll be so cool. It's so nice to see how, even with streaming and everything, WVM is still thriving, college radio is still thriving, and that's very much in thanks to you with your work through the station. It's been so fun having you, and hopefully we will get to interview some other people that we have here today.
Yay! It's Alumni Week. We're here at our Alumni Lunch at Titanic, so it's awesome seeing so many people here. But yeah, we're all one big family, and we're all connected through radio, so yay!
All right, we're here right now with Chris Stonick. If you want to introduce yourself and the years that you were at the U.
Sure, I was here at the U from 78 to 82 undergraduate and 82 to 85 masters, and I actually became a recruiter for the University of Miami.
Wow.
And so my area was New England. And
Very
so
nice.
I recruited students for 2 years, and in return at the time, they paid for my master's degree. So it was an awesome time. I loved it. And it was the coolest thing. I'll never forget. I was looking for students, and the dean got a phone call because they were upset. The one dean at the school up north, very prep school, was very upset because I didn't wear a tie.
Oh, really? They would be that upset about it.
Yeah, from the tie. And so that week I'd sent in 400 student requests, and he had never seen that number before. He goes, Chris, the dean's pretty upset. And I said, oh, I'm sorry about that, Dean. He said, are you comfortable? I said, yeah. He goes, keep doing it. So
There you go. Yeah, don't change what you're doing.
But to see all these
Exactly.
people here at the VUM reunion, that's absolutely awesome. I mean, Jeremy Lang and I were here, and I hadn't seen Jeremy in 40 years.
Wow. So
So-
you're keeping your connections. This is so great.
And new friends, Taylor,
Yes.
nice to meet you.
Yes,
So,
nice to meet you.
So, I mean, old friends, new friends, it's a great time. An
It's
absolute
so
time.
great. The connections everyone here is making and sort of seeing all these people they haven't seen in forever. It's so amazing to be here right now. And so you said that you did a lot of stuff for the station. You did a lot
I
of
was
things
on
through
air,
the
But
school.
I also did some play-by-play color for the football games.
Very
And that was
nice.
an absolute. So I worked with Dave Lamont and Dave Lemon, and that was a great time. And so many great memories from VUM.
Yeah.
And from a kid that didn't know what I was going to do, I came down to Miami, actually for marine biology.
Very nice.
And my counselor looked at me and said, "That's funny." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "You don't look like the kind of guy that wants to study 24 hours a day." I said, "Go on." He said, "That's a double major." He said, "Pick another major." I literally came back 5 minutes later and I said, "How about communications?" He goes, "You're going to be so much happier." And I am.
I have heard that. Yes,
So
I'm an architecture major, so I know what it's like to be busy.
Yeah, I tell you, I've been in radio now my entire career. I've had my own consulting firm for 37 years in
That's
radio.
amazing.
So I mean, I love radio. I love VUM. I love the U, and so it's all great. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, it's all been coming together, it seems, for a long time. So when you were here, you said that you did things for the football team. So what was like the coolest memory you have from that?
One of the neatest things was I had an internship with Channel 4 Sports through the U.
Wow.
And at the time, I was working with a photographer, and we were underneath the goalpost when we kicked a 57-yard field goal against Florida. It bounced off the goalpost and bounced in, and I was right underneath the goalpost.
Wow.
I said a lot of words, and I was a sound guy. I said a lot of words you can't play on radio.
Yeah.
I was so dang excited.
Yeah.
It was the coolest
Like,
thing.
forget the FCC
Oh, man.
guidelines.
So
We
they
always
didn't
follow
They didn't
them.
play the sound. They played the video. They didn't play my sound clip, but
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that was one of the neatest things.
That's amazing.
It was awesome.
I'm sure that must have been absolutely crazy to see happen right in front of you.
The place just erupted. Erupted. So.
Oh,
It was
that's
way cool.
amazing. Yeah, it's amazing that like radio can get you these front row seats into like these crazy events. It's been so amazing.
It's been, I'll tell you, I love radio. I know it's changed a lot, but to me, it's all good. All the change has been great. So I still love as much today as I did back then.
That's amazing. It's so cool to have everyone back here today. Like, is there anyone else you were surprised to see here?
No, well, I haven't seen Ray Vaughn literally since college as well. And I used to do stand-up comedy, and Ray just told me one of the bits I did back then. I said, "Oh my God, I
Really? Still remembers?
I cannot remember that." He goes, "Chris, I still remember you for that bit to this day." I was
That's
like,
so
"Oh
funny.
my gosh, that is crazy."
Yeah.
Crazy.
Just really sticks with you.
Can't
It's
say that on
amazing.
air, but
Yeah.
he can still remember.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's so nice to be having you here today.
Taylor,
Thank
very
you
nice
so
to meet you.
much.
Thanks
Yeah.
for everything. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you for coming. We
bet.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's go. All right, everyone. We're here right now with Rosie and Riza. If you guys want to introduce yourselves and say what years you were here at the U, go ahead.
I'll start. My name is Rosie. I was on VUM from 1994 to 1997.
Nice.
Was PSA director, was program director, hosted the Retro Lunch and co-hosted the All Request show with Rise Up for 2 years.
That's amazing.
It was fun.
It was fun. I was on the same years. I was the first training director.
Wow.
They made the position for me. We were the first all-female, two-female duo All Request show. I did the World Music Show with Avivi, who's over there.
Very nice.
And a bunch of other, and I got to look at everyone's air check tapes, which was not so fun.
I can imagine.
Some people
That
were not
feels like
so
a lot.
good. So I was the one that said, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, I understand that.
I'm not shy, so you know what?
It's got to happen.
Your
Someone's got to
last day
say
is
it.
today. And starting with me, we were on 24 hours, no automation. It was a body.
Wow.
When people didn't show up for their shifts, which happened often with a 1 to 4 and 4 to 7 shift, she would go in and do those shifts
Wow.
and then have class the next day.
It didn't matter what I was wearing. We had a camera. And if I'm in pajamas with no bra, that's okay. Because
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
we were on the air.
And actually, we moved the studio from the second floor at the UC to where they are now.
Wow.
So we finally had an office for the executive board because we were basically in a closet with the studio and the office area. So
Yeah.
we carried all that stuff from the second floor down to the studios. We had a separate production studio for the first time.
Ever.
We didn't have that before.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that was us.
Yeah, we owe it all to you guys. Yeah,
Yes.
that's amazing.
And then you plastered our vinyls on the wall, which
I know.
really hurt my feelings, but it's all good.
That wasn't me. I'm not going to take the
before
blame
you.
for that
That
one.
was
Yeah.
definitely
That was before you.
That was before your time.
Exactly. Yeah. I was going to say, you just mentioned the retro dinner, retro lunch.
Retro lunch,
What was
yeah.
that? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so it was from noon to 1 weekdays, and it was playing 80s new wave.
Very nice.
So yeah, playing a lot of modern English, Depeche Mode. Dexys Midnight Runners. The
Very nice.
Bangos, the Go-Go's, stuff like that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And then what did you guys do on your show that you hosted together?
It was the All Request show, so obviously we took calls and
Took requests.
but our focus, and this is back when these guys weren't big bands, but we were playing Stone Temple Pilots, Nirvana, Alice in Chains,
Very
Luscious
nice.
Jackson,
Weezer, Natalie, they were all underground back then. So I interviewed a lot of people also with the World Music Show that are now famous bands. So the basis for Weezer was on our show with me and Avivi because he's from somewhere.
Wow.
I don't know where he is right now, but we had a lot of on our show a lot of bands that now are huge that were underground that came to our show. That's when college radio was actually really, really uber alternative. I'm talking like super alternative.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to hear the names of some of the songs we played. You
Yeah.
don't. I mean, we'll share, but no, we won't.
I understand. Yeah.
This is PG.
I know.
I'm not PG,
It used to not be PG.
so I'll be quiet.
Yeah, I understand that very much. It's definitely, things have changed a lot. And how has that been? Like, I'm sure it's been crazy to see just like how all these bands that you sort of like felt like you discovered, I'm sure, just see how huge they've been getting. How has that felt?
We did other local bands too. Remember that?
Yeah, we did a lot of local bands, but no, it feels good because these bands weren't recognized at the time, and we knew that they had good music. So then, of course, the rock stations in the market start playing them after we play them.
Yep.
Of course.
So you got 94.9 Zeta that doesn't exist anymore would play this music.
We were there first.
Yeah, I guess Big 106 plays active rock now.
Big 105.9.
Big 105.9, yes. Sorry.
I'm local.
Yeah.
They're
My
not.
husband was program director for Big 106.
They're not Big 106 or Big 105.9.
Big
There
105.9.
you go. Things are changing.
The rock station.
Well, we were 94.9 Zeta. That was my first
Yeah.
professional radio gig. Was doing overnights at 94.9 Zeta, and
Very
I moved to
nice.
do at an alternative station in Daytona Beach. And I went back to Zeta. Then I did an alternative station in Fort Myers doing afternoon drive. Then I did nights at a classic rock station, and that was my last radio gig in 2008.
Wow,
Yep.
yeah. Would you ever want to get involved here again with alumni shows next year?
Well.
Yeah.
You want to speak on that, or here? I'm going to say something. If I'm allowed to play kind of sort of what we want to play, then 100%. I'm here. I live in Miami, so I'm down.
You're close by then. That's easy.
Oh, I'm down. Well, I won't do it without her, so she has to come down.
Yeah, and I'm in North Carolina, and I try to come down for homecoming every year.
Very nice.
We were going to do it about 2 years ago, and when we submitted our playlist, the majority of our songs
Denied.
had a word or two that
Denied.
I guess can't be said on the station now. That You know, the station's a lot more conservative as far as the music and the personalities than it used to be. It was a different time.
And it wasn't bad. It just, like, it wasn't a curse word, just things that I guess now are not played.
Yes.
So,
It's definitely a different time.
yeah.
For
So,
sure.
But yes.
If you are interested, we would love to have you guys back next year. It was so amazing to interview you guys.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank
It's
you.
nice meeting you.
All right, we'll be back in
All
a
right.
little bit. We'll see y'all soon. All right, hi.
Hey there.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, it's so amazing to have everyone here today. If you want to introduce yourself a little bit, go ahead.
All right. Well, my name is Linda Corley, and I was a DJ for WVUM from 1978 to 1982.
Very nice.
Yeah, I started out with the graveyard shift, 4 to 7.
Oh
I would
my God,
walk
how
by
was that?
myself. Yeah, to the campus, and then my last year I actually had my own radio show called The Bits and Pieces of Rock and Roll.
Wow. And so what kind of music were you playing? Rock and roll? What were you sort of focusing on?
Well, what are the classics now? But maybe they weren't classic yet. It would be like Led Zeppelin.
Very nice.
The Beatles, Jethro Tull.
Very
the
nice.
Moody Blues, a lot of prog rock.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I know you mentioned before, I was going to ask what's sort of one of your favorite memories, but I know you mentioned talking about the John Lennon tribute. If you want to tell everyone about that, that would be amazing.
Yes. So I already had a passion for telling stories, not just, our next song is. I always wanted to give a reference or, this person's on guitar who used to play with Eric Clapton on Cream. So people
Yes.
could really
Give me the
understand the
context.
music. Yes. And I was a big Beatles fan. So John Lennon died in December of that year. And I remember staying up all night that night with my Beatles history books and putting together a 1-hour documentary radio
Wow.
tribute to the man, the legend, and running over there with my script and sitting there and getting through 1 hour that was taped.
That's amazing.
And played for the next week. It was a tribute to the great works of John Lennon.
Wow, that's so amazing because it's such like an enormous cultural event, especially in the world of like the Beatles totally changed the music world.
Absolutely.
And that's such an amazing thing to have been able to do. If if there are any still recordings of that around, I would love to be able to have
I
it.
still have my air checks,
Wow.
but they're all on cassettes.
okay.
But it's funny, before I came here, I was going to look through to see if I had the John Lennon tribute.
Yes.
But yeah, I would love to find it too.
If you can, we would love to have that in our archives. That's such an amazing thing, and it's just
Thank
so
you.
cool how WVUM has been so involved with all of these cultural changes through music in the past so many years now, and it's amazing seeing everyone here who's able to tell us about all of that.
I know. It's really like a history book here, right?
Yeah.
And we as baby boomers like to think that we had the best rock and roll. Well, I know, we always say that. But I got to tell you a little aside. So when I was your age, and I was doing the bits and pieces of rock and roll, and we all are. You are, I am. We're all in awe of these people that we are spinning records of. Like we're telling their story, whether it be Jethro Tull or the Beatles, or the latest and greatest of this time.
Yeah.
So when I was about 15 years ago, and I was working for Channel 2, which is South Florida Public Television,
Very cool.
I had my own show called Art 360. And the beauty of that show is whenever a big rock and roll group would come to the Hard Rock, I would make sure that I would interview all my old idols.
That's amazing.
So all those people that I was in 1980 introducing and spinning records for and telling their story,
Yeah.
I actually got to meet them many, many years later.
That's so amazing
Oh,
to
yeah.
hear. Who do you think the coolest, if you had to pick one, who is the coolest person you think you've met or band?
Okay, well, there's 3 people. One was Davy Jones of the Monkees.
Wow.
Met him, but he was my little girl crush. I can't say I was wild about their music.
Yeah.
John Lodge and Justin Hayward of the Moody Blues.
Okay.
Met them. And Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull, and then Ann Wilson of Heart.
Oh, wow.
So all
Oh,
of these were people
that's
that
amazing.
I admired, listened to in my college years, and then finally got to stand here like you're doing to me and interviewing. It's like, I can't believe I'm interviewing
You're
my
like, oh my
idol.
gosh,
I know. And my cameraman kept kicking me saying, stop giggling.
That's so funny. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
It's been so amazing hearing from you and just hearing about how radio has brought you so much. It's brought everyone in this room so much, and it's so cool to hear about all of this.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yes.
It was great reliving it.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been so great. All right, we're rolling. If you want to introduce yourself,
Sure.
go
My name
ahead.
is Mark Gottlieb. I went to the University of Miami from 1976 to 1980. My son came to the U from
Oh, very nice.
2009 to 2013.
Wow,
So we're
so it's just
family
generation family.
Generational family.
Love that.
My son heard all the incredible stories of me going to the U, and his mother went to the U as well.
Very nice.
And it was the only college I think he ever really considered going to. I didn't know that at the time, but sometimes
Yeah.
our kids are actually listening to us.
Yeah, every once in a while, yeah, it happens for sure.
So I was a DJ on the radio station. I stepped into WVUM in 1976 as a freshman.
Okay.
I went up to the student union, and those days it was on the second floor,
Yeah.
right by the elevator. And it was always this darkened place that you could see into the studio. There were always on-air personalities. And as a kid, 18-year-old kid, you're going, what's this? This
Absolutely.
looks really cool.
Yeah.
And you don't think that you could be a part of that because these are all the people that have been doing this but if you ask the question, can I do this? They go, come
Of
on
course
in.
you can.
And
yeah.
I learned that this was a student-run radio station that welcomed all newcomers in. And by the time I was a senior, I was practically running the place.
Yeah.
I mean, we had people that were formerly running the place, but I had my own. I had talk shows. I had my own DJ show, Drive Time, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Very
I
nice.
had a 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. show. So pretty good hours.
I was just saying, you got pretty good hours. I've been hearing some not so good times from some other
Seniority.
people.
I started as a freshman.
There you go.
And I started as a sportscaster.
Okay.
And I'd go in and I'd read copy. And then I grew to do play-by-play from the Orange Bowl.
Wow,
with
that's amazing.
People like Dave Rendon and Doug Green, who are
Yes.
here today for my class.
Very nice.
Got to know some of the football players on the team. In those days, my claim to fame was knowing O.J. Anderson, who was our big star.
There you go.
And got to stand on the sidelines next to Joe Montana, who was a senior at Notre Dame at the time.
Wow, yeah.
And I got to interview some NFL players back in their day, Bob Greasy from the Dolphins. This was the greatest experience, being on this radio station and learning about interacting with other students.
Absolutely.
And so the fact that they're doing this, and you guys in your generation, not to sound like the old grandfather,
No,
but
absolutely.
the fact that you guys are still doing this is phenomenal.
It's
Absolutely
been
fantastic.
so amazing to hear from everyone here today about their experiences in the station. And even you just saying, like, you just went in and everyone was like, of course you can join. It's exactly how the station is today. Like, I joined as a freshman, and immediately I was a little bit worried, and everyone was like, you can do whatever you want. Radio can open so many doors for you.
Or just doing it opens the doors. What you do with it
Yes.
afterwards is up to you. I didn't end up staying in broadcasting because I was a film major in college.
Oh,
I
wow.
graduated from Miami with a film degree and ended up going in that direction before I ultimately went to law school. But these were invaluable experiences. First of all, just learning how to speak publicly, learning
Absolutely.
how to speak on the air. And in those days, for me, learning how to get rid of my New York accent, which
I know.
which I did, then it's back.
It's back now. I
Yeah.
understand.
But in those days, you learn these things. You learn how to speak publicly. You learn how to interact with people listening to you, and you have a voice.
Yeah.
You have a voice.
You get
right?
to discover your own voice. It's amazing.
Or have a voice. You guys are taking over the friggin' world. It's your generation
Yeah.
that's going to take over everything. You got to speak now for us,
Exactly.
right? It's your turn. So this
Yeah.
is your start.
Exactly. Like, it's just so amazing. Like, everyone has talked about how radio has helped them in so many ways, like building confidence, like you said, sort of discovering what you want to go into what you're passionate about. It's been so amazing.
It is good. I'll give you one piece of free advice on top of going into radio.
Absolutely.
Take 1 year of improv somewhere in your life.
Really?
It doesn't have to matter. You don't want to be a sketch comedian.
Yeah.
1 year of improv.
Really?
Best advice you'll ever get from anybody.
That sounds like good advice. Yeah, I was going to
Especially
say.
doing this.
It helps so much,
The
just
fact that
helping you
you're-
back and
You're in
forth.
front of a camera. You're on a microphone, right? You
Yes.
have a voice. You like to speak. You like to be heard.
Yes,
There's no better way to learn how to expand your way of speaking and being heard
exactly.
than improv.
Yes, improv and radio. Those are the two best ways.
So anyway, I hope I gave you my input. Hope it was
Yes,
good.
thank you so much.
And
That's
thank you
completely
for
perfect.
allowing my voice to be heard back on the
Yes.
WVUM again.
We would love to have your voice heard on WVUM again in the
My
future.
pleasure.
Thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
today. Thank you. All right, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself,
Sure.
go ahead.
My name is Ray Vaughn. I
Very
was
nice to
here
meet you.
from 78 to 82.
Very nice. And then, so what got you involved with the station in the beginning?
I grew up here in Coral Gables, and I had been listening to WVUM as a kid, and I got to a point that I was ready for college, and it was a big factor in me going to U of M. Was
Wow, really?
WVUM, for sure. So I got to the station, you know, beginning of every year they ask for volunteers, and I'm listening, and I'm like, yeah, sign me up. And I said, I want to be an engineer because I'm into electronics and radio and all that type of stuff. And I said, I want to be an engineer. And they said, great, but first you got to be a DJ.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a prerequisite. I had from high school an incredible fear of public speaking.
I understand.
I was really nervous about it, but I thought I really want to get into radio engineering and WVUM, so I got to do it.
Yeah.
So I went through the training, did my first shift, did a terrible job, but it was my first shift. I did a few late nights, but then I got a decent shift, 7 to 10 p.m.
That's not bad.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I got comfortable with it. I never used my last name on air, so I could be in a class and nobody would know it was me.
Yeah, there you
that
go.
kinda helped
It's
me
like having a
understand
little
it.
secret life.
Right.
That's so cool.
So from there, I wanted to be more involved, so I was DJ, engineer. They needed a traffic director, which back then was very manual, a lot of writing and logs and stuff.
Yeah.
I got traffic director, and then worked under some great GMs. And then one year, we all realized there's nobody really groomed to be GM, so 3 of us went into the advisory board meeting, and I think all 3 of us said, I don't want it, give it to one of the other guys.
Yep.
I got it. So I was
Yep.
general
It's
manager
gotta
for
be someone.
1981, and best experience of my life. It
Wow.
really challenged me. I wasn't a broadcasting comm major, so I had to take a comm course. I had basically survey a broadcast with Judy Wallace at
Wow, yeah.
what was back then the Beaumont Theater, now the Cosford Theater. Learned a little bit about broadcast, had to study some laws about broadcasting, and I was general manager of a radio station, which to this day is on my resume.
That's amazing.
It's
yeah.
such a good experience, and I really hope that more and more students get involved in WVUM. It is so
Absolutely.
important. Anybody can do a podcast. Anybody can have a YouTube screen. They cannot be on a broadcast station licensed by the FCC the way WVUM is. It's such a great resource for this university.
Absolutely. And it's so amazing to hear that WVUM was part of the draw that brought you to University of
Absolutely,
Miami.
right.
Like, that's so amazing.
At the time, FIU was just getting started, no radio station, they do now. It was about the only thing that I was thinking about in getting into broadcasting. Again, through the electronics side, but I kind of got pushed into the management side. It was a great experience.
That's so amazing. And so, I'm sorry, I didn't actually know what you have done through the rest of your career, but has WVUM helped you with that?
For sure. I ended up working in a cable TV company.
Wow.
So we built the original TV, not the original, but the 1980s TV studio here on campus.
Wow.
Dynamic Cablevision. So that studio we built, and we built out the cable system throughout Coral Gables, which brought those channels throughout Coral Gables, again, before the internet and streaming. I then went to work for a music video network doing telecommunications. So
Wow.
still kind of music related. They saw WVUM on my resume.
Yep,
and
they're like, that
helped.
sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah. At least he knows the business.
Yes, absolutely.
And then after that, I started working for Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, where I run the radio system for the fire department.
Wow.
And amazing parallels. Instead of DJs, we have dispatchers. And we still have transmitter sites. It's a lot of similar technology. And back when I was at WVUM, we kept the station on the air through a hurricane.
Wow.
Yeah, Hurricane David. So that keeping it on the air because people are depending on it was another spirit of broadcasting. And that was the spirit of WVUM. We used to be on the air 24/7 with live DJs in the seat. No automation allowed back then.
That's so amazing.
So there was a really strong spirit. You could call up one particular frat house at 4 a.m. and say, look, the DJ didn't show up. Can whoever answered the phone
send someone over.
Was licensed and approved to be a DJ at that particular frat house. They'd come in and do a shift at 4 a.m. No questions asked.
That's amazing.
Really
That's
great
so
spirit.
Cool.
Yeah. So I hope that continues. The University of Miami needs WVUM.
Absolutely.
I really hope that the power's increased again because I used to be able to hear it in Pompano. I can't now.
Yeah.
So I really hope that WVUM continues and gets stronger.
Absolutely. It's been so amazing talking to you today.
Great.
I also
Thank you very
hope
much.
that WVUM stays strong for another 40 years. We would love to see it just sort of stretch into the future.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you
so
very much. All right.
This is amazing. Thank you.
Hi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Beach the Deej, 1984 to 1988. 90.5 FM, WVUM. Reaching the beaches, raid in the glades, and rove in the grove. Dare to be different.
Okay, so obviously you were a DJ. What was
Little
your
bit.
show?
I tried anyway.
Right. Well, you were probably good. You have a catchphrase.
That was it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Right. What was your show like centered around?
So, it started out as all freshmen do with a midnight, actually it was 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. graveyard. Then the following year, I was the morning DJ for, I think, a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
From, I want to say 7 to 10 or 6 to 10 or 6 to 9. And that's where I started the tagline. Actually stole Dare to Be Different from WLIR, which was a station up in New York. And my claim to fame at UM was car-size. So I used to have this morning show where I'd have people do car size, like roll down the window, I had people call me, tell me they were on 95 doing arm circles outside their window.
Oh, that's cool. It's kind of
and then I was the first DJ in Miami to ever play Alphaville Forever Young.
I love that song.
That's my wife's favorite song.
Oh, it's a beautiful song. What was your favorite moment in WVUM or your favorite memory?
Favorite moment, WVUM. Not having to wake up at 2 in the morning to do a show.
Right. So what made you think of doing the car signs to like interact with the listeners in that way?
I was talking to Keith Bernstein, who is, I think, he was either music director or something in management. And we were talking about what do we do for a morning? We need some kind of, skit. And I would do voices, and I wanted to be Howard Stern. That's why I got into radio. And then I realized my sophomore year, there's already Howard Stern, and that ain't working. So I just had fun with it.
Okay.
And then we started just car size, do some exercises in the car while you're driving.
Oh, that's cool.
And I had a disclaimer because I wasn't responsible for anybody who got in any accidents.
Right, okay.
And what do you do?
I am currently the music director at WVUM. I'm also a DJ. I have my own show there where I mix live on CDJs.
Okay.
And I'm a DJ outside of school as well.
Now, so your board looks a lot different than our board.
Yes. So instead of like doing a rotation show with all the songs that are in the system, I just have like a USB with my favorite songs, and then I just mix in and out of them.
It's amazing, and you DJ outside, and everything's like on a CD. It's not even a CD. I don't even know what you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when I was in school, I used to DJ the Rat.
Oh, me too. I work at the Rat.
So we used to have. We could promote the Rat. There's nothing wrong with that. Makeda, right?
Yes.
Makeda. So we used to have promo night at the Rat, where you get like 25-cent beers.
Okay.
It was pretty crazy, and I used to DJ promo night from like 1986 to 88. I was on the 6-year plan at UM.
Okay.
I did graduate though.
All right.
There's a photograph that shows me in my cap and gown. People ask me if it's a Halloween costume. It was actually graduation. But I DJ'd the Rat, then I DJ'd a couple of nightclubs.
Okay.
Had fun with it.
Yeah, DJ is fun. It's a good way to learn about music and to share your music taste with other people. I enjoy it.
I wish I would have stayed. I always want to. My wife and I love the same music. It's all EDM, trance. I love the 80s music, Erasure, Depeche Mode,
Right.
Alphaville,
Right.
Billy Idol.
Right.
So,
He's
but
good.
that music was transformed us while we were in school. That was our era. So I look at the DJs now, and I always wanted to get a DJ. I don't know.
Or do you have any children?
No.
No. Okay.
Haven't. We
Would
we have a dog and a cat.
They could help. They could help with the.
Probably do it
downloading.
better than I can.
Maybe. Who knows?
My wife is a fitness trainer
Okay.
here in Coral Gables, and she downloads the music. And everyone's like, you should get on Spotify. It doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
And we're still buying Apple Music, like paying $1.29 up because we're afraid if we don't do that, we're going to lose everything. It just deletes.
Okay. It could.
Is our time up?
No, we have 1 minute. So
1 minute. That means we got 5.
right. When you do have Spotify, when you don't pay for that anymore, technically you don't have as much access to the music.
You don't.
Yeah, in a way. So that's a valid.
I'm going to bring us back to UM now.
Yes, you should.
No, I mean bring the interview back to
Oh
UM.
yes.
No, I love my time on WVUM. That was, I'm trying to work out something with a friend where we might help you get a bigger antenna.
Okay.
We're trying to get somebody in the administration to talk with my friend, and he has a big building. So if you're on a big building, that's an advantage.
Oh, well, thank you.
So, any other questions? 'Cause I don't care if they say 1 minute. I'll keep going. I can talk for hours.
I think we covered everything. Thank you so
Go
much.
Canes. Wait, we got to throw to you up. Hold on. Ready? Throw to you.
Thank you so much.
Go Canes, beat Florida State. I'll be back next year.
Hello.
Hi.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Steve Godo. I'm was station manager in 1981.
Okay.
And
What was your most fond memory at WVUM?
I think the first time that I turned my microphone on
Really?
and I had to talk.
Right. It's
And
scary.
yeah, it was scary. And I just kind of opened my mouth and I started talking and I managed to make it my first 20 seconds on the air. And the rest was history.
It was easier after that.
After I graduated in '83, and then I went to work for PM Magazine at WTVJ. Yeah, which was a local magazine show. We used to do stories. We used to have national stories that came in, and we would do a lot of local stories. And it was like a travel log, kind of like the Travel Channel. Before the Travel Channel, and it came on at 7:30 every night. We got canceled because of Wheel of Fortune. But I went to a lot of places. I went to Brazil, the Bahamas, the Galapagos Islands, and as a kid, I was just in my 20s.
That's beautiful. Did you have any shows at WVUM?
Yeah, I had I had an air, a regular DJ show, and I liked rock, and progressive rock was very big in those days. So Pink Floyd, and what else? Oh, we had ELO, we had Genesis, a lot of bands like that, and that's what we were playing on the air.
Were those your favorite bands? Or your favorite music to play?
Yes.
Okay.
I think my taste was a little more commercial top 40 when I got here, but after spending some time at VUM, I went album-oriented rock forever. you know, and I still love it today. I mean, I still listen to the new stuff. I listen to the old stuff. Man, I love the old rock arena shows kind of thing.
Yeah, the radio station like has a way of expanding like your music taste somehow, some way. I don't know how.
It did.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit more about like your travels and the show that you had with the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like translate that to radio? Because we don't really have that at this age. So it was like interesting to hear about all the different shows that people had in the 80s, 70s, 90s. How would that show run?
In terms of like
you would read about these certain places and then right on air?
Oh no, we would do entire package video stories.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In fact, we used to spend a couple of weeks in the editing room. Yeah, you know, putting together a show.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And then we would air it every night at 7:30. But you know, we would do shows. We would shoot them ahead of time. You know, production schedule, right? Yeah. So we knew when it was airing.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
this
you.
interview. Do you have anything you'd like to say to the camera?
Yeah, this is the greatest experience. I think the two things that I really enjoyed at was VUM and Army ROTC. And I ended up working in the industry, got 2 Emmy Awards, and then punched out because I was tired of it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. But it was fun, and it was a great experience. And most of all, now I really enjoyed seeing all the people again. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Makeda. Yeah.
Have a good day. Hello. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Mike Diaz, and I worked at WVUM from 2007 to 2011.
Okay. What was your position?
For the most part, I was just a DJ or a sports broadcaster. In my final year, I was the office manager.
Okay, cool. So, did you have a specialty show, or were you just a rotation DJ?
I was mostly rotation DJ. I did a little specialty show where I would actually invite alumni to come on, and I interviewed them, and they listen to them play their old music.
That's cool. When you did do a rotation show, what type of music would you usually like send to your show around?
So I wanted my show to be like a morning wake-up show, and so I would always try to find like the most energetic option within the rotation, right? Because you got to stick to the rotation.
Right.
You're the music director, right?
Yeah.
So okay, yeah. So I was very good. I stuck to the rotation, but yeah, I just, sometimes they would give me, there's some artists that are like really sleepy, like they would give me a James Blake or a Sufjan Stevens, and I'm like, what can I do with this? But I would just try to find something that's a little more upbeat.
Okay, so really energetic was your vibe.
Yeah, I was so happy to be there.
Oh, that's wonderful. What was your favorite or fondest memory at WVUM?
When I was a senior, we campaigned to win the MTV Woody contest, and it was really, there were so many individual moments that were, made me very happy, but just seeing everybody come together, because it's like, you're kids, you're 20 years old, maybe a teenager, everybody's got their drama, everybody's got their clique, whatever, but it's like, at that moment, in those 4 months or whatever, when we were working on that project, everybody was coming together. Underwriting was there, the music staff was there, promotions, the sports staff. It's like sports usually they're not always a team player when it comes to the station, but it's like they came through too. Or I should say we, because I was on that staff too. But it's like it was really special, and to see it come to a head and actually win, that contest, it made everybody happy, and it made me happy.
If we still have that trophy in the studio, and I'm always confused when I see it, because it's like just like an axe in a log, right?
Yeah, I don't know the lore behind MTV's design decision, but I'm very happy that you still have it. Yeah, a lot of people worked hard to make it happen. Yeah.
I have no clue what the Woody Award is. Can you tell us a little bit more about what the project you had to put together for that?
So it's very funny. Basically, it was just like a voting contest, like a popularity contest. I imagine maybe MTV had some sort of like finalist process to determine which stations would be, the top 4 or the top whatever 10. But at the end of the day, it was like you go to a website, you click vote, this is the station I want, and the kicker was you could do it as many times as you wanted.
Okay.
So we had like a voting rave where we gave away a ticket to Ultra for like whoever voted the most times. We were constantly at home voting and telling everybody to vote. And so it was it was really just like a popularity or like an ingenuity contest of like who can figure out this system and make it work the most, and for whatever reason we did it the best.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and some of our e-board even flew out to, I think they had the show in Austin where they like gave out the award ceremony, and some of the e-board was over there. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. It's like a little piece of like our history that like I'm finding out now I didn't know about before. Is there anything else that you would like to say about WVUM or your time there?
It's very important to me, and I'm always happy to see everybody who comes here and that it's important to them too. I didn't join because I love music. I didn't even join because I love radio. I mean, I listen to the radio a lot. I wanted to be a sports broadcaster, but it's like having a group of people who went through these things together and like worked really hard to build something together meant something very powerful to me, and still means something to me that even if some people I haven't spoken with in 10 years or longer, like I still think about them all the time and think about what we worked on together and having fun and hanging out. And so I'm really grateful that you and all the other volunteers are still working, because I was afraid, I don't know how much longer the station will be there, but I'm happy to see that you're all doing well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time out to come today and for this interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. So who are we here with today?
Alan Carmen.
Nice to meet you. What were your years?
I was here from 1978 to 1982.
That's awesome. And what did you do at the station?
I was sports director for 2 years.
How was that experience for you? What are some of your favorite memories?
A lot of the memories are just from the people I worked with and how professional everybody was. I think we were more mature, than you would think. We were in a very professional-like setting, even though we were kids, and we all learned how to grow up very quickly because we were under a lot of different circumstances when the community around campus counted on us for things, whether it was regarding news, whether it was sports. We were looked upon as the go-to place for the communication around campus and around the community. So there was a lot of responsibilities heaped upon us. So a lot of us who were still a little immature coming to the University of Miami, we had to grow up really fast. So when you think about all the talent that came through the studio doors, the personalities, and I think the one thing about WVUM is that we were all different. A lot of people belonged to different clubs, different fraternities. Not everybody was a communications or broadcasting major, but everybody did their own thing, and there was no judgment. You could be who you wanted to be. You were who you were, and it was almost like a club that accepted everybody with zero judgment. Yeah. And I think with everything, it made WVUM special, and I think that's why when you talk about the alumni group and people who come back and they see each other for the first time in many years, they're so happy to see each other because it was a very close bond, and that bond is something you don't normally see when you just have some of these other clubs that are, they're very one-dimensional. WVUM was multi-dimensional and multifaceted.
Yeah, of course. It's such a melting pot, definitely, and the inclusivity is really, really important. And definitely what draws a lot of people to it is that it's a space that everyone can feel comfortable, and not only that, but get to express themselves, whether it be through their show or through what they're doing.
Well, I think there's talent, there's creativity, there's a lot of intellect and ingenuity that goes along with all of it. So I think it's a place that people can explore themselves, explore what they want to do, and a lot comes out of it, not only from a personal standpoint, but from a business standpoint and I've always felt like it gave me a real jump start on how to work out in the real world, how to be with other people, how to deal with other people. I learned some lessons that I never would have learned anywhere else, dealing with the people at WVUM.
And building off that, what is it that you went on to do after VUM and graduating?
Well, due to family obligations, I ended up going into a much different business immediately after graduation. I became a commodities trader, but that was more to support my family after my father had passed away. I ended up getting back into the media at some point. I am now writing. I'm a blogger. I do travel blogging. And we travel all over the world.
That's awesome.
We go to national parks. We go to different countries. We write about it. We do reviews. We have a good time with that. So I've always liked writing. I do miss the broadcasting aspect. My voice is definitely not the same after 9 years of yelling and screaming like a lunatic trading commodities. My voice has changed immensely. I'm a lot older. But I think that I've always loved the aspect of broadcasting, and I know things have changed quite a bit. Radio specifically is not even close to being what it used to be when I was a kid and starting out. So I think that the industry has changed, but I do miss it. I love talking. Everybody tries to shut me up. So I could go on and on. I don't have much to talk now. But I've always enjoyed being on the radio. I actually broadcasted games for University of Miami. I broadcasted games for the Montreal Expos, the Baltimore Orioles. I was a beat reporter for the New York Yankees for 4 years during spring training. I did a lot of things that people don't get to do.
Yeah.
It was my utopia. But at some point, you know, you move on from that, and, you know, the industry has changed, it's evolved. So, you know, now I do mostly writing, and, you know, I'd love to get my voice back out there, but, you know, they'll just keep telling me to shut up.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you today.
Anytime. Same here.
Thank you. Well, hi. Welcome to our interview at Titanic.
Thanks for having
me. Who am
me.
I here with today?
I'm Brendan McCarthy. I was at WVUM from 1998 to 2003.
That is awesome. I was born in 2003, so
nice.
Look at that. So what did you do while you were at VUM?
So I did so many things. A great thing about WVUM is being able to do the things that you wouldn't be able to do anywhere else. I mean, I was a station engineer for a couple of years. I helped out a lot of other people with different positions. Their traffic director, the program director, training director. I was general manager for a summer when there wasn't one to cover. I did sports engineer. We didn't have a sports engineer when I started here, and so we built out a sports engineering program.
Wow.
After about 150 baseball games, I started to love baseball. And I did all the football games for 4 years straight, at least all the home games. And I got the experience of sitting alongside the broadcasters from CBS or NBC or you know, all these big stations, seeing the way that they set their equipment up and the things that they look for. And sometimes they'd give me their crowd mic feed, and we'd share like that. It was really a great way to learn. And then I did, of course, radio show. I did a rotation. I did a specialty show. I did the Saturday morning cartoon show. I think I'm the only person who's ever done that, which was tons of fun. It was really wonderful. But if I had to pick the thing that I remember the most, it would be the times with the engineering crew, fixing things or trying something new. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing a live broadcast from that green field in the middle of campus because so-and-so event is going on and the president will be speaking and so forth. Brendan, can you make that happen? Oh, okay. I got a box of cable in the... Yeah, I'll figure it out, don't worry. Call up my friend Ray, who used to be station engineer also. We got to figure this out. So run the cable over the whole building, the student union, down the other side, out into the field, you know, set up mixers and mics and everything, get all ready for the event. And then I was doing all that at 2 in the morning And then when the 6 a.m. comes around and I'm all set up, now NBC and CBS are rolling their big trucks in. All my stuff is front and center because I got there in the middle of the night, and they're just showing up now, and they have to be the mics on the side of my mic.
That must have been a lot of fun. Do you have any favorite memory?
I think my favorite memory from WVUM would be that event right there.
Really?
Because it wasn't just scrambling in the middle of the night to figure something out that we didn't think could be done that fast. It was also, I had, my friend Ray with me. I had a junior engineer who was working with me at the time, who would later went on to become general manager. And it was the camaraderie. We did that together. We worked out how to solve a problem, and we solved it, and we did it in record time.
Yeah, that's such an important part of VUM and community radios, that we're all doing it together, and that's a really, really meaningful thing to have. So yeah. And what is it that you've gone on to do now? What brought you here to the alumni meeting?
So I still live fairly close. I'm in Broward County, less than an hour away. I met my wife here at the U, and we've been married for more than 20 years, have 5 kids.
Sweet.
And during that time, I started out here, I wanted to become a lawyer.
Yeah.
And so my undergrad and my master's degree are both in business with specialization in legal studies. And then partly because of the people I met at WVUM, partly because of other factors in my life, I decided that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an engineer. So Ray got me my first job out of college, working with him at Miami-Dade Fire Rescue as a telecom engineer. I have been a project manager. I have been a network engineer. Right now, I am principal InfoSec risk and governance lead for a Fortune 100 manufacturing firm.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah, and it all started here. I don't think if I had been part of WVUM, I would have had that career line.
Yeah, that's really, really cool to hear. And I'm so happy that I got to interview you today. I'm glad you got to come. It must have been really great to see everyone again.
It is. I look forward to this every year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, good afternoon. Who am I here with today?
My name is Aveen Marani. I graduated in 2002, and I was a radio DJ.
Awesome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your show, what you DJ, music you like?
I was doing rotation Saturday mornings, sometimes sports. If they had a football game, I'd announce the football game. Sometimes I joined in different shows. There was the Underground on Thursdays. There was, no, that was Friday night. The Gateway on Thursdays. I would go in and play punk music with some of them, electronic music with some of them. It was basically like the B-sides for my rotation show as well. So I got to learn different specialty shows. I got to DJ rotation on Saturday. It was a whole lot of fun.
That's awesome. Do you have any key artists, like favorite music artists that you found during your time here?
I had Lady Gaga. Before she was famous, she crashed my show.
Really?
I think London After Midnight, they were also studying. They crashed my show one time. Can you play our stuff? Sure, I'll play some of your stuff. I guess they had like backup vocals. I don't remember. It was so long ago. There used to be different clubs. The Kitchen, I guess they had a demo CD. It was very, very interesting to meet other artists or other students who, were into music.
That's really, really cool. And let's see, do you have a favorite memory from when you were at the station?
Favorite memory? I liked introducing the football team. I liked, talking to some of them. I knew some of the football players. They were national champs. That was interesting. So I met a bunch of people when I was there.
And that's really cool that you were doing both the music side of things and the sports.
Well, it was Saturday, so you didn't know what was going on. Sometimes, they would broadcast later, so I was there all day Saturday.
Yeah.
When am I going to do my rotation show?
Yeah, of course. And you're into football, sports?
Yes. I like football.
What's
I like
your
going
team?
to games. Of course, the Canes.
Only right answer. But yeah, that's so cool. And what have you gone on to do since?
I graduated. I guess I'm retired, but sometimes I listen to the station wondering, should I go back?
Yeah, of course. You should. You're always welcome to come
do another degree. Why not? Do it all over again.
That would be fun, honestly. If you were to do another degree, what do you think it would be?
No, I'm too old.
No.
I'm in my mid-40s, so.
That's not old. No. Still have so much ahead. But that's awesome. well. Is there something that you miss about the station and being a part of it?
I miss all the vinyl.
Yeah.
What was it? The Secret Frequency crew with some other students. They used to do an electronic show, and so they used to bring all the vinyl. We used to do all the vinyl on Saturdays, but that's about it that I missed. And we don't have any more records. It's just MP3s.
Well, of what's being played usually is the MP3s, but we do have records. There's DJs who spin the vinyls, and we've actually started events on Tuesdays where we're actually out in the breezeway selling vinyls and records and playing them for everyone. So definitely, and I know that there's been events. Tomorrow, actually, we have an event at Terrestrial Funk, which is a record store down in Design District. So we're still trying to keep that part of it.
Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what time it is actually, but it's tomorrow, and it'll be fun. So we've tried to still keep that kind of part of it, but it's not the same. I know back then things had to be like physically played for the whole 24 hours to be live, right?
Yes. Or there was, like I said, students. They were involved in DJing, and then like maybe the Titanic would go and DJ there afterwards. That was so much fun. I miss that. So you party in the studio and then come and party like here in the Titanic.
No, yeah, of
with
course.
the same DJs.
Yeah, the DJ events.
It didn't have to be like main artists or underground artists. It was just anybody.
Yeah.
It was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, one thing that I know that Sophia's been doing a lot of is having DJs coming in to the office and playing, so that's been a fun part of it. And then there's still events like the one tomorrow at like Dalazine. There's been ones before, so it's still something that you're always welcome to come to. It's open to everyone. And
Thank you very much.
Fun. But yeah, well, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Same here.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.